So whenever I see something like this right here, I'm excited because it's innovative, but I'm also skeptical because this seems like something that's too good to be true. Am I actually able to make a delicious cup of espresso anywhere? There are many, many times I've been hiking or backpacking and longed for a shot of espresso. Usually it's those crisp, cold mornings in the fall, or a day like today where it rained hard and everything is soaking wet. Few things are better than a shot of espresso to start or end a day like that. But making espresso in a remote wilderness area is not something I considered an option until now. The folks at Outin sent me the Outin Nano, which I'm holding right here in my hands. The Outin Nano is a portable espresso machine with a built-in battery. Outin did send me the Nano at no cost, but Outin does not know what I'll say in this video, and this video was not subject to approval before publishing. Outin was also kind enough to provide me with a special link and discount code that I've shared in the description below for any of you that are interested in buying a Nano for yourself. So let's talk about the Outin Nano, and I'm going to brew a cup of coffee while we do. So I'm gonna get my water out of my pack here. Gonna need that in a moment, right here in my hydro flask. Ground espresso right here. So the first step we're gonna take is we're going to remove the bottom here. This is the cup, and we're gonna remove the basket here at the bottom as well. Here's our basket right here. This is where we're gonna add water in a moment. My scoop right here also doubles as the tamper. We're gonna take our filter basket right here. We're gonna pop off the top, and inside here is gonna be our filter, and that's where we're gonna put our espresso. So I'm gonna scoop my espresso here with the scoop that's included. I'm gonna put some down in here, and you wanna fill this about 80% of the way. You don't wanna overfill it, but you don't wanna underfill it because your coffee will be too weak if you underfill it. So once we've got it about 80% of the way full, it's gonna look like that right there. And we're gonna take this and we're gonna tamp it down. And once we've got it tamped, we're gonna pop the filter cap back on, just like that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it back into the perma filter here and make sure it's down in there. And then next we're gonna take off the cup here at the bottom, and we're going to screw the filter on clockwise till it's nice and tight. Then we're going to pop the cup back on here at the bottom. That way, when we brew our coffee, it's going to go into the cup and not onto the forest floor. And finally, up here at the top, we're going to take off the top here, and this is where we're going to add our water. The nice thing about this is you don't have to guess how much water to add into here because this does have lines along the side. There are lines right here, and those lines are going to help guide us. So what I want to do here is I want to put in about 50 milliliters. That's going to give us the perfect shot of espresso. Get our canister of water, and we're going to pour it down into here. And right there is at the 50. It's going to be hard to see for me to tilt this, but it's at 50. Put the lid back onto my water. Fresh water in the woods without needing to use a filter is a precious commodity. And then finally, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop the cap back on the top. Now, it's time to brew the coffee. Now, since my water is cold, what I need to do is I need to hold down on the power button here for about 2 seconds. And when I do, it's going to beep. That means the water heating process has begun. So what's going to happen is this is going to heat water for a couple minutes here, and then it's going to beep again. And when it beeps again, that signals that the extraction process has begun, and it means the Nano is starting to brew my cup of coffee. So while the brewing is happening here, I'd like to talk about what I love about this and what I don't. First of all, what I love about this is it's portable and really easy to carry. That's the size of it. It fits nicely in a backpack. It's made of a nice heavy-duty metal material, yet it doesn't feel that heavy. And the amount of space this takes up, when space is a precious commodity in a backpack, this doesn't take up a lot of space at all, which is really nice. Second thing I love about this is the Nano is compatible with both ground coffee and coffee capsules. Sometimes it is more convenient to bring along capsules instead of the ground coffee, but then other times in the trail, when you're stopping places to get coffee, the only coffee you can get is grounds, not capsules. So it really depends on where you are, but it's nice to have both options when you need them. The third thing I love about this is not only does it produce hot, delicious tasting espresso, but it also produces espresso with that rich crema. That really makes the shot extra tasty. Having that little bit of foam there on top, perfect. And of course, if you do bring along some of the fixings for something like a latte, a cappuccino, or an Americano, this will do that as well. Which reminds me, where I live, I often lose power. When I lose power, it's a little bit difficult to brew coffee. Personally prefer pour over when I'm at home, but that usually involves heating up water and then pouring it over the coffee. This is a great backup in those situations. So if I want my caffeine, I can use this right here, which runs on battery, and I can brew my coffee that way. By the way, hold it up to my mic here. You hear that? That's coffee coming. All right, we've got our beep. Starting to brew it now. I'm going to pause telling you what I love about this while it brews so you can watch the process here. You can see it there coming down into our cup. I'm really excited. You can smell the rich aroma. All right, and when it's finished, it's going to cut off automatically. And let's take off our cup. Check this out. Take a look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Check out that foam on there. I am excited. Let's take a sip. That's good. So the fourth thing I love about the Nano is the battery charge will last for 4 to 5 cups of coffee like this right here. And what that means is if you have cold water like I do on the trail, you could brew 4 or 5 of these before this will need a recharge. If you have a pot along where you can heat up your water on a fire, or if you're brewing this at home and you heat up your water first, this can brew approximately 200 cups on one charge with the hot water. So what that tells you is most of the battery energy is spent on heating up the water. The rest of the process is very light duty on the battery in here. It's heating up the water that really takes the most battery power. So that being said, I do recommend bringing along an external power bank. I always have a couple of those along on adventures because I like to charge my camera batteries, my phone, anything else like that. And the power bank I've tested with this and it does work great. All you do is pop up the tab here, and this is where you can plug in the USB-C cord right there to charge it. And if the battery is completely dead, it takes a couple hours to charge, but it's no problem because I can hook it up, throw it in my backpack, and let it charge while I hike along. So what don't I like about the Nano? Well, there's only one thing that I really don't like, but it's not necessarily unique to the Nano, and that would be the cleanup. So once I'm done with my cup of coffee, what I usually do is I usually rinse out the cup here with a little bit of water. Oh, nice, I caught a raindrop. Perfectly timed. What I do is I rinse this out, and since I just drink my espresso black, I don't really need to deep clean this because it hasn't had any milk or anything like that in here. So put a little bit of water in there, rinse it out. That part's good to go. And then what I do here is I take off the basket with the perma filter, and I do it carefully because it can still be quite hot if I've just brewed coffee. And what I do is I pull this out, and if there's any remaining liquid there, I dump that out. Then I pull off the cap here and I pour out the grounds, give it a good shake, and then usually have a little bit of that left in there. It's not too bad to clean out. So what I do is I just put a little bit of water in here, swish it around, dump it out, and that's pretty much good to go. But one final step you'll want to take, and this would be with any other espresso maker at home, anything like that, is you want to do the clean out cycle because you want to make sure it's cleaned out inside anything that may have gotten up in there. So what you do there is you take off the lid and you're going to put about the same amount of water in there. So I'm going to do that, pour the water in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pop the cap back on, and then you're going to tap the button twice. And then what it's going to do is it's going to run the clean out cycle, which is really cool because it's just shooting the water through there. It really doesn't take a lot of energy because it's not heating it first, just shooting it out. And then it's going to keep running a little bit to kind of air dry it. And obviously air drying is important anytime you have water going through something. And you can see the lights along here. Those are going to cycle along. And then it's going to automatically stop as soon as it's done. So even though the cleanup is my least favorite part about this, it's really not that bad. Cleaning a countertop espresso machine at home is at least this involved, sometimes even more. And then once you've done that, you're good to get everything reattached. So you just want to screw this back on here and pop your cup back on, and you're good to go again. So if you're like me and you like to enjoy a good shot of espresso anywhere, highly recommend checking out the Outin Nano. This is a simple, inexpensive way to make coffee on the go or at home. And it's a great backup when you're in places without power, like the wilderness, or your house if you lose power a lot like I do. If you're interested in buying a Nano, make sure to check out the description below, and you'll see my exclusive link and coupon code that you can use to get a 10% discount on the Nano. That coupon code, by the way, is Great Day for a Hike, all uppercase.